Of course, lesbians have dreamt of this for years. Sleeping in late, reading to each other, fretting over the cat, cooking, stretching, listening to jazz and silks. No parties to attend. A breeze, scented by western red cedar, lifts her hair to my mouth. I shouldn't pull away from what is good and true, but I do, just to check real quick. The morning media is personal, tragic, assaulting from all angles. I've been instructed to breathe. Most days, I mute the phones and kneel before her at the only thing still known and nameable. Be here with me, baby. Be right here. We've been working our way through a 25-pound bag of flour. If epigenetic theory is true, my ancestral Irish brown bread and hearty Colcannon should serve us well now. What got us through the famine should do just fine today. We've been spring cleaning and uncleaning, wrist deep, gliding, slick from room to room, that smelly, transcendental sex. Frankly, the end of the world makes me horny. And from my quarantine window, I could see tawny brush rabbits nibbling and tiny Pacific wrens singing their flowering songs. I've worked 2 jobs as long as I can remember. I've never been home to hear them. I take her in both of my hands and feel certain, mashing my slit onto hers, we could make something if we tried. I went out. I did the dance with neighbors and at the curbside, this new choreographed veering that scuttles us in the aisles, harsh-lipped or with empty, apologetic half-smiles. Even back at the trailer park, and later, on food stamps, I never saw an empty shelf. The reek of privilege is white and hot through my veins. I look to the loading dock, repurposed and triaged, and take in what authors and mothers have been telling us for years. These systems are untenable. But we did it. We halved global emissions overnight. Some reports allude to a net reduction of deaths. Is it true that by lessening pollution and workplace accidents, this industrial slowdown is sparing lives as well as taking them? I can't follow that logic to its reasonable conclusion. I only know what it felt like to start a garden, how it healed me to run at sunrise, 6 feet behind strangers on the marshy, muddy earth, and how Trillium, wet on the hill, burst to greet us. It's the season of recreation, renewal in the bud. I find myself milling around the apartment asking, what else can burst? I called a trusted older friend who's lived through the worst of the worst. Wars and threats of atomic bombs, devastating losses, not to mention the sexual abuse, both specific and generalized, that attends femmehood. Well, I've never been through anything like this, she said. That was the first time I felt the sting. The most prolonged eye contact of the week is with my cashier, who skips his usual compulsory greeting and instead just looks at me. I want to ask him something real. As an autistic person, I've fantasized about a culture of direct speech, free from vague, meaningless niceties. No more, how are you? Fine, and how are you? Fine, and how are you? His eyes are storybook brown, New England copper brown, gleaming Appalachian chestnut brown, twine, baling Missouri hay for America brown, brown like cocoa chips in the banana bread I made this morning. Yeah, everyone's doing it. I admit, I want to be a part of something. If the predictions about global food supply chains are true, these might be the last bananas we'll eat for some time. "Are you okay?" is what I eventually managed to ask him. I've stopped turning things up like a question at the end. The new world is flat and declarative. No state, no metro area will be spared. This is a refrigerated truck for the bodies. War-ravaged Syria just reported its first COVID-19 death. We're here. We're here. We're here now. A few weeks before quarantine, I steamed and pressed pale peach twin-size sheets for the first guest room I've ever had. It was supposed to be an artist residency. Our city was among the earliest to pass an eviction moratorium. So for the next 6 months, I am housed and physically safe. With so many of my friends in other states unhoused and desperate, I wonder how the nature of this residency will change. Home as shelter. Survival as art. If and when they need to roll into town, I want to be there to receive them. By then, will I have to kiss them with my eyes? Stand 12 feet away? In kink, there's a theory of fluid bonding. What you do with one, you do with another, and with their others. Well, who knew kink would show us the way? But we could stuff a few more twin-size beds in here. We could. Endless sleepover. The ultimate residency. Actually moving in. Some friends have returned to their parental homes and holed up with cartoons and mom's cooking. For me, and for so many other queer kids, there has been and will be no homecoming. Home is the one I've scrimped to arrange here, with the girl, with lithe fingers. I close my eyes as she braids my curls. Of course I am afraid of what lies at the bottom of this bag of flour. Of course I am. There will come a Monday. We are jobless artists in a nation that hasn't paid for art in years, if ever. Will society rise to meet us? Will there be a place for us in the new world order? Will I make something with both of my hands?